The Coach Pete Richardson Show, hosted by Clarence Buggs and Southern University head football coach Pete Richardson, featuring all the excitement of the Southern University football program. Brought to you by Acadian True Value Hardware, SU Jags Online, Casino Rouge, Capital Transportation Corporation, the Clayton Law Firm, Bank One, Baton Rouge Coca-Cola, and Agnes Andrews Allstate Insurance.
Right on CTC, we're here to get you there.
We're here to get you there. Your city bus can take you anywhere.
When you don't fight traffic, the difference is huge. We're the transportation for Baton Rouge. Right on CTC, we're here to get you there.
In the last 5 years, you've updated your computer twice, updated your home entertainment system, updated your camcorder, updated your wardrobe. Isn't it time you updated your insurance?
For a free insurance checkup, see Agnes Andrews at 1200 South Acadian Thruway, Suite 217. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Hello and welcome to week 12 of the Coach Pete Richardson Show. We are on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. Clarence Buggs along with the coach, Pete Richardson. Coach, this past weekend, 667 offensive yards against the league-leading defense for Texas Southern. If we had another month in the season, you think maybe we'd be contending for the SWAC championship?
Well, overall, I think I give a great tribute to our offensive staff. They're doing a fine job as far as the chemistry is starting to develop in our football team. I think the whole thing offensively is the balance of what we're trying to establish. Offensively, our wide receivers set the tone for it, but I think the whole key is our offensive line. I think we've had a lot of individuals that in there during the year, and they're finally developing that chemistry, and you can see it, and they're starting to improve each week.
Of course, you can't forget Terrence Levy in that offense as well.
I think he's doing a fine job also as directing our offense. We're making explosive plays. I think last game we had something like 5 or 6 plays that were drives that was over 80 yards. When you're doing that, then you're moving the football.
Without any further ado, let's get straight into the highlights. First possession of the game, Coach, 2nd and 10 from the 44. Devin Lewis, 56-yarder from Terrence Levy.
Well, we caught him in man-to-man defense, and Devin was pitted against a linebacker, and we ran it down and in. He did a fine job of catching the ball, and then once he received it, he's doing an outstanding job of running once he gets it in his hands.
Justin Mattingly has the point after to make it 7-zip. TSU's first possession, Adam Lamb, the quarterback, puts it on the turf. Jabari Green in the right place at the right time.
Well, we showed him a blitz, and he pulled from underneath the center kind of quick, and all of a sudden the ball was laying on the ground, and Jabari did a fine job of falling on it.
We take advantage of the opportunity. 3 plays into the drive, Terrence finds Torrey Ingrams for 21 yards.
Well, we were in a sprint out mode in our fast-paced offense, and we sprinted out, and they doubled on the outside, and Torrey was standing right in the flats wide open, so Levy did a great job of hitting him with the football.
5 plays later, 1st and 10 from the TSU 15. Dane Lewis, 14 yards, 1st and goal.
I think our running backs are starting to come around, and I think this is Dane's probably finest outlook as far as running this year, and he's running hard.
1 play later, he punches it in, and we're up 14-zip.
It was a dive in the inside, and the offensive line did a fine job of blowing him off the ball, and Dane was in for a second score.
2 possessions later, we falter in the drive. Terrence Levy, first of all, finds Hayward Guyan for a good-looking 40-yard completion.
Well, we had a lot of time, and I think our offensive line is doing a fine job of picking up them stunts, and anytime we can do that, we can get the receivers deep, and Levy is doing a fine job of putting the ball where it should be put at.
As I mentioned, we faltered in that drive. 4 plays later, here we give up a sack for 9 yards.
Well, like they came off the outside, and they doubled on the outside, and Levy had the opportunity to run the ball, but he pulled it down, and they were able to get a sack.
TSU takes over on downs. 1st and 10 from the 39. Wayman Steed thrown for a loss of 1. Michael Landry on the stop.
Well, it's one of the few running plays they had inside. That quarterback handed off to the tailback going inside, and I think our defensive line did a fine job of making that tackle.
2 plays later, Lamb hooks up with Hankton for a 26-yard completion to our 49.
Well, I think that their quarterback Lamb is a gifted athlete, and anytime he gets out on the flank, and he can spot individuals and throw the ball on the run, and he was able to hit Hankton for that drive.
Speaking of the gifted athlete, 2 plays later, he rushes for 28 yards and another first down.
Well, there it goes again. Our ends have to keep him contained. He got underneath, and all of a sudden, boom, he's in the secondary, and once he gets in the secondary, he's another running back.
4th and 8 from the 19. Special teams comes through with the big block.
Well, they attempted the field goal attempt when they got down around the 20-yard line, and we had a surge up the middle, and I think Mo blocked it, and one of our defensive backs picked it up, and we're off and racing again.
First quarter ends 14-zip our favor. First possession of the second quarter, Terrence goes to Trevion Jobert for 41 yards.
Well, the two inside receivers are having a great year because they're doubling on the outside, and they're usually pitted against linebackers, and they're such great athletes, they outmaneuver them.
21-zip at that point. TSU's ensuing possession, Lamb on 2nd and 10 gets dropped for a loss of 13.
Well, we studied from the outside, and I think we were one of the few times we were able to contain him, and I think the line did a fine job of squeezing in, making that tackle.
TSU's next possession stalls when on 4th and 9, Adam Lamb cannot complete the pass to Davis.
Well, it was a down and out, and I think the coverage, we put some pressure on him, he sprinted out, and the pass was incomplete down in the flats.
We take over, 2nd and 9 from the 11. Terrence goes to Torrey Ingrams, this time for 17 yards.
Well, the type of defense they were playing, especially on the sprint-out game, they were leaving the flats uncovered because they were afraid of wide receivers going deep, and Torrey was standing long on the outside.
21-zip at that point, and when we come back, obviously we've got much, much more. Stay with us. You're watching The Coach Pete Richardson Show.
Southern University alumni, faculty, and students, you can take the yard to the web thanks to SU Jags Online. That's right, SU Jags Online is the official internet service provider of the Southern University National Alumni Federation. You can communicate with long-lost classmates, get financial information, news, entertainment, and weather. Follow Jaguar Sports Live and so much more all online at SU Jags Online. Go to www.sujagsonline.net and subscribe today.
Imagine a place that understands you'd rather be doing anything on Saturday other than fixing your faucet. A place that knows you can't spend half the weekend shopping for your weekend projects. True Value. For the jobs you do most and look forward to least. Because the sooner you get done, the sooner you can get back to this thing called your life. True Value.
Acadian True Value, serving Baton Rouge for over 25 years. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations.
I'm attorney Tony Clayton. I've tried a number of cases right here in this courthouse. I've probably tried more cases in the last 10 years than most lawyers have tried their entire career. I'm not afraid of a courtroom, and I'm not afraid to try your case before a jury, which means that insurance companies either offer you a fair settlement or we go to trial. My area of practice is personal injury. If you've been seriously injured, give me a call at 344-7000 for a free consultation. You will receive prompt, professional, and personal attention from me and my staff. And remember, at the Clayton Law Firm, we'll be with you every step of the way.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show. We are on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. We go back to highlight second quarter action up 21-zip. 2nd and 13 from the TSU 20. Terrence Levy to Trevion Jobert for 15 yards.
That's one of the fades we use. We caught him on man-to-man coverage down on the goal line, and I think Hayes is doing a fine job. The quarterback is throwing it up, and he's 6'5". He's going up just taking away from the defensive back.
3 plays later, Michael Hayes from Terrence Levy, touchdown.
It was a slant that they came on the inside, and all of a sudden he went up again, and he's caught one-on-one, and he's almost an overpowering mismatch for their defensive back.
TSU comes back, their next possession, 1st and 10 from the 31. Hankton, a 69-yard completion from Adam Lamb.
Well, he sprinted out to the left, and all of a sudden broke contain, and he was running down the field and got behind the defensive back, and he's a gifted athlete. I think he's one of the finest receivers in our conference.
Second quarter ends 28-7 our way. First possession of the second half. Lamb goes to Jackson, this time for 23 yards.
Well, again, he had great protection, and Lamb goes down the sideline, and anytime he's in there, the quarterback has an uncanny ability to put it on the money.
5 plays later, their drive stalls. 5 plays into our drive, 1st and 10 from the 33. Elvis Joseph rips off 32 on the ground.
Well, there's a draw play up the middle, and I think the offensive line did a great job of blocking. Elvis made an individual miss, and he was in the secondary for a good gain for us.
4 plays later, again, Elvis Joseph, this time 27 yards into the end zone.
Well, they're running hard. I think they lined up the blitz, and we ran a power play off the right side, and Elvin split the line, and all of a sudden he was in the secondary, and boom, it was a touchdown.
PAT is good, 35-7 at that point. Our next possession, 5 plays in, Dane Lewis for 21 yards.
Well, we're starting to get our running game clicking, and anytime we can get that running game, and I think it's starting to come around, especially with the passing game. They're taking people out of the box, and you can run the football now.
Unfortunately, 5 plays later, 3rd and 16 from the TSU 37, Terrence gets the pick.
Well, we thought that he underthrew the football a little bit. We tried to run that fade route with Hayes on the outside, and they doubled him, and the ball was underthrown, and they came up with an interception.
TSU takes advantage of the turnover. 15 plays later, Adam Lamb for 13 yards and a touchdown.
Well, they moved it down the field, and they sprinted out, and he broke contain, and he's a very elusive a quarterback, and all of a sudden, boom, made an individual miss, and he was standing in the end zone.
Another good play for special teams. Justin Lacombe has his point after blocked.
Well, we're getting a good surge with our defensive line, and I think we blocked the second extra point of the night for us.
Last play of the 3rd quarter, 2nd and 10 from the TSU 46. Terrence goes to Torrey Ingram again, this time for 27 yards.
Well, they're still afraid of the deep route, so we're using Torrey underneath. He's working on the linebackers, and I think the quarterback is doing a fine job of deciding where to put the football.
3rd quarter ends 35-13 our way. 5 plays into the quarter, 3rd and 17 from the TSU 26. Michael Hayes, 25 yards.
Well, they stunted off the left side and left Hayes one-on-one. Quarterback broke contain, and all of a sudden Hayes was down standing by himself. Ran a great pass pattern one-on-one with the defensive back, and he made a good run.
1 play later, Dane Lewis punches it in. We're up 42-13.
The offensive line did a fine job of blowing them off the football. We're starting to establish our running game.
Ensuing kickoff, 63-yard kick. Unfortunately, Owens returns at 38 yards.
Well, we kicked it after we scored, and all of a sudden the line running down, they were blocked, and the individual did a fine job of running back to about the 35.
12 plays later, Winston punches it in from 2 yards out for the TD.
Well, they did a good job of knocking us off the football. I think our defensive line has to stay low at that point.
They pick up the 2-point conversion. At that point, it's 42-21 Jaguars. 12 plays into our next drive, 3rd and goal from the 2. Elvis Joseph takes it in.
Well, we responded after they scored. We knew we had to go down and score another touchdown. I think our offense did a good job marching almost 190 yards, and that offensive play to score that touchdown.
Justin converts the PAT, 49-21 at that point. 3 possessions later, TSU has it 1st and 20 on their 25. Lamb to Jackson for 17 yards.
Well, they ran a screen on the outside. They did a great job of blocking and knocked off the contain, and he was in the secondary again.
2 plays later, he goes to Jackson for 26 yards.
Well, it's the same type of play, a down and in these options reading the linebacker. If the linebacker comes up, he throws in behind him.
Final score of the night, 1st and goal from the 4. Adam Lamb takes it in himself.
Again, they marched it down the field. We let him get out on the outside. He broke contain, and he's a very elusive runner standing in the end zone.
Final score, 49-29, a 20-point margin of victory for the Jaguars in their final home contest of the 2000 campaign at Mumford Stadium. Single season and career marks, 2 records, outstanding records set and broken by Michael Hayes.
I thought Mike did a fine job as far as directing. He's caught one-on-one a lot of times. We're able to get the football to him, and when we get the football, he's able to run once he gets his hands on it.
When we come back, our weekly award of the top choice player of the week on offense and defense. Stay with us. You're watching the Coach Pete Richardson Show.
Even in good times, the needs of Louisiana's communities don't disappear, and sometimes their challenges can seem overwhelming. That's why Bank One Louisiana contributes more than $10,000 a day to education, medical research, the arts, and countless charitable organizations across our state. And it's why our employees devote thousands of hours to causes they believe in. We do it because some things just can't be done alone, and we think it's important to help restore the balance.
There's a place where you can go to join the celebration called Fun Fever. Come to where the action's hot, the sights, the sounds, the tastes, it's called Fun Fever. Shake your body, it's a party every day. Feel it in the air, fun fever's here to stay. Fun fever, get to the Rouge.
Now that's what I call fan noise.
Ride on CTC, we're here to get you there.
We're here to get you there. Your city bus can take you anywhere.
When you don't fight traffic, the difference is huge. We're the transportation for Baton Rouge. Ride on CTC, we're here to get you there.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show. We are on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. As promised, Coach, we have to take time to award our top choice offensive and defensive players of the week. Let's start with the defensive player of the week.
I think the defensive player of the week was a defensive back, Damian Rogers. Did a fine job as far as having an opportunity to play. Made a number of one-on-one tackles in the open field and really made some sparkling plays for us.
Let's flip the coin over and award our top choice offensive player of the week.
Well, this is a tough choice on offense. I think you could give it to the whole offensive team, but I think one of the offensive linemen, Larry Harrell, graded out extremely high. I contribute a lot of what's happening offensively to that offensive line because we hadn't had a lot of injuries. They're getting a lot of reps, and each week you see some improvement.
Senior night on the Bluff, the final home game of the 2000 campaign for the Jaguars of Southern University. Outstanding group, 18 seniors, 3 conference championships under their belts.
Well, when you look what this senior group has established over the past few years, they're second to none. It means a great deal to our football program and what they tried to instill. A solid foundation. A lot of those individuals played some great roles in our championship, and I was glad to see their families come in. Mom and Dad having the opportunity to come in and see them play.
Got an open date now before the Bayou Classic. First and foremost, what will you and your staff be doing in that open break?
What we're doing is catching up on our recruiting. We're going out and see a number of high school games. Also, we're going to explore some of the junior colleges. We have to have some help on defense, especially on that defensive line. We have a number of individuals that's on our team, but we had to add some depth, the defensive line and our linebackers.
And of course, obviously, the players. What will they use to occupy their time in that off week?
I think the players have an opportunity to maybe get a chance to go home and maybe eat some of Mom's home cooking. It's been a long season for them. A lot of trials and tribulations they went through. They have a couple of days off will really get them ready for next week.
From a coaching standpoint, would you prefer to have an open date this part of the season, or would you rather just keep rolling right along?
Well, for us at the present time, because of the number of injuries we didn't have, we need an open date. I think it's going to help us out. We have some reoccurring injuries. A week will help our football team out.
And speaking of that dreaded I word, injury-wise, how did we come out of this latest encounter?
Well, overall, I think our quarterback injury, Levy re-injured his ankle and should be fine with a week's rest. Also, one of our defensive ends went down, and I think both those individuals will be back for the big game for us.
Speaking of being back, it's that time of the season where we have to start looking ahead to the following season. Got to feel pretty good in the skill department because you've got a lot of talent coming back.
Well, when you look at our football team, especially offensively, all our skilled people are coming back, and 3 of our offensive linemen. So it was a learning process for them this year, and they're starting to get that confidence level in them. We got 2 quarterbacks coming back, and most of our receivers. So defensively, we have to replace some people.
When we come back, it's our weekly trip around the SWAC. Stay with us. You're watching The Coach Pete Richardson Show.
Did you know that by following a few simple directions, your insurance could cost a lot less?
To find out how safe drivers can save, see Agnes Andrews at 1200 South Acadian Thruway, Suite 217. You're in good hands with Allstate. Southern University alumni, faculty, and students, you can take the yard to the web thanks to SU Jags Online. That's right, SU Jags Online is the official internet service provider of the Southern University National Alumni Federation. You can communicate with long-lost classmates, get financial information, news, entertainment, and weather. Follow Jaguar Sports Live and so much more all online at SU Jags Online. Go to www.sujagsonline.net and subscribe today.
On Monday, it was an eternity away. By Thursday, you could almost taste it. The weekend, filled with possibilities and, oh yeah, projects. Nobody knows where you'd rather be more than True Value. We get you in and out fast with just what you need. Because the sooner you get done, the sooner you can get back to this thing called your life. True Value.
Acadian True Value, serving Baton Rouge for over 25 years. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations.
Enjoy the moments that a new day brings. Everyone in the world has a song to sing. Live every day, let it sing. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show, shot live on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. Just before our last commercial break, we promised our weekly feature, Around the SWAC. Coach, a full slate of games within the Southwestern Athletic Conference last weekend. Let's start off Alabama State 44-28 winners over Mississippi Valley.
I thought that was a big game for Alabama State to try to establish getting to the championship. I knew it would be a tough contest for them because Mississippi State plays great defense and have a fine running game, which give Alabama State some problems.
Alabama A&M, a touchdown better than Alcorn State, 27-20.
Well, that was kind of surprising. I thought that Alabama A&M has been shooting to get in a championship game, would score more points.
Maybe the Alcorn State Braves use that role of spoiler as a little bit of a motivating factor for them?
I thought that Alcorn has a fine football team. Unfortunately, they hadn't won many games, but when you watch them play on film, they're real aggressive on defense. Offensively, they can run the football. They have to brush up on their passing game, but I think in the future you're going to see a good Alcorn Braves football team.
Jackson State, 38-27 winners over New Haven.
Another surprising score. I thought that New Haven would give a better fight, but then they took it in overtime, and Jackson has a fine football team, and they're improving each week.
Lane College, no contest against UAPB, 44-18 Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Well, you look at Pine Bluff at the present time, they probably have the best overall 1-2 punching and running attack in the whole league with 2 individual runners that will probably get 100 yards almost every game. They have a fine offensive line, and they make no bones about what they're trying to do with the football.
And our final game from last weekend, Northern Iowa, 60-14 winners over Prairie View.
Well, when you look at that game, it's just one-sided. Of course, you're looking at one of the finest Division I AA teams in the country with the team they played, and they had to make a statement as far as trying to get in the playoffs.
Now, obviously, we are off this weekend, but that's not true for the entire rest of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Around the SWAC, this coming weekend, Alcorn and Jackson State, always a good game.
Well, when you look at that game, it's always a huge activity for both teams. The public look forward to it. They have a large crowd, and I'm quite sure you're going to see a good, inspired Alcorn team going against Jackson.
Probably going to be another hotly contested, at least emotionally wise, when you hook up Pine Bluff and Alabama A&M.
Well, Alabama A&M has a lot right on this football game. If they win this game, they have a chance to go to the championship game in Birmingham for the first time, and I'm quite sure that it's going to be an exciting football game.
Texas Southern hits the road big time to take on Norfolk State on the West Coast in San Diego.
Well, they had to try to finish up strong. I think that Bill's idea is to try to finish this team up strong. They had a good year. Anytime you look at the team they had and the improvements they made in that football team, you have to feel good of starting off next year.
And finally, Prairie View is on the road at Northern Iowa.
Another contest where, they're fighting an uphill battle. They're going against one of the finest teams in the country, and they also have to make a statement as far as getting in the playoffs.
Now, on to the obvious business at hand, the lone contest remaining on the 2000 season, the big one, the Bayou Classic against the Tigers of Grambling State University. What do we know about them so far offensively?
Well, I think offensively they're led by the quarterback, Randy Hyman, is doing a fine job. He's almost passed for almost 2,000 yards. And of course, the man he's trying to spot is Scotty Anderson, an individual that I'm quite sure you may see on Sunday afternoon. He's about 6'1", has great speed, catches the ball extremely well. He's about almost 1,000 yards as far as reception and 16 touchdowns as far as from that aspect. But, you know, they're a solid football team offensively, and I think the difference between this team and last year's team is they're running the ball a little more.
Now, defensively, what can we look for from Doug and the G-men?
Well, I think when you look at their wins defensively, Robert Taylor is doing a great job on the inside. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you. I think Coach Roach is doing a fine job of blitzing from everywhere.
When we come back, we wrap up Week 12 of the Coach Pete Richardson Show. Stay with us.
I'm attorney Tony Clayton. I've tried a number of cases right here in this courthouse. I've probably tried more cases in the last 10 years than most lawyers have tried their entire career. I'm not afraid of a courtroom, and I'm not afraid to try your case before a jury, which means that insurance companies either offer you a fair settlement or we go to trial. My area of practice is personal injury. If you've been seriously injured, give me a call at 344-7000 for a free consultation. You will receive prompt, professional, and personal attention from me and my staff. And remember, at the Clayton Law Firm, we'll be with you every step of the way.
Even in good times, the needs of Louisiana's communities don't disappear, and sometimes their challenges can seem overwhelming. That's why Bank One Louisiana contributes more than $10,000 a day to education, medical research, the arts, and countless charitable organizations across our state. And it's why our employees devote thousands of hours to causes they believe in. We do it because some things just can't be done alone, and we think it's important to help restore the balance.
There's a place where you can go to join the celebration called Fun Fever. Fun Fever, Rouge Fun Fever. Come to where the action's hot, the sights, the sounds, the tastes. It's called Fun Fever. Fun Fever, Rouge Fun Fever. Shake your body, it's a party every day. Feel it in the air, Fun Fever's here to stay. Fun Fever, get to the Rouge.
Wouldn't you love a sunroof in your car? How about a simulated convertible top or rich supple leather seats? Maybe a television entertainment system for those road trips. Tops Unlimited is the only name to know for automotive aftermarket accessories. Custom grills, ground effects and rear spoilers, wood grain dash kits, convertible top replacement, and more. It's all available at Tops Unlimited, serving Baton Rouge for over 18 years. Located at 11311 Cedar Park Avenue off Segan Lane. Our business is Tops.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show as we wrap up Week 12 here at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. Coach, in the last segment we talked about the Bayou Classic and the phrase was coined years ago. It's not just a game, it's an event. From a coaching standpoint, with the beauty pageant and the scholarship ball and yada, 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 all that's going on, how tough is it to keep the kids focused and out of distractions' way?
Well, it's tough because of the magnitude of the game. A lot of the parents come around, the hype that's been involved with it. What we try to do is we'll stay on the outside of town and try to keep some of that distraction away from our football team, because once you get down in the city, there's so many things going on. There's so many friends around, and that's one of the ways we try to keep them focused.
The Bayou Classic in and of itself is a phenomenal event, but can you gauge what the publicity does, and have you been able to use this as a recruiting tool?
I think the main thing, the exposure for our university, not only for athletes, but the regular students. Anytime you're on national television, at least once a year, it has to have an impounding effect to the individuals around the country to see your university on television, and what we have to offer, the curriculum we have, and also even our band situation. That plays a great deal. It's a total program what we try to put on Saturday afternoon.
Whole different team, different attitude from what we saw in the last Bayou Classic on behalf of the Grambling Tigers?
Well, when you look at their football team, I think the coach has done a fine job. They're 9-1. I think they're going into a game, they're going to be in the all-time high, and we're going in to try to make a statement. I think we have to lay the groundwork going into next year. Our players have to finish up this year strong, and it means a great deal to our football team, especially the seniors.
Very unusual position, almost a role reversal heading into this Bayou Classic. How's your team handling that?
Well, I think the practices, we're having a great attitude. We realize that we blew some opportunities to have an opportunity to get in the championship game, but we're on the upbeat, and I think we're going to finish up strong.
Despite the fact that we have an open date next week, we will have another show, so you, the Jaguar Nation, are invited to come out and join us. We'll be here next Monday night, same time, same station, with another edition of the Coach Pete Richardson Show.